Hello and welcome to the channel. Three presidential candidates Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Peter Obi of the Labour Party (LP), and the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso were on Sunday locked in a national debate organized by Arise TV. The All Progressives Congress APC Bola Ahmed Tinubu missed the event as earlier announced by his party. Subscribe, like, share, comments. Thank you. Atiku, Obi Kwakwanso lock arms at debate. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his counterparts from the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and the New Nigerian People's Party, Rabiu Kwakwanso, have proffered their respective solutions to the incessant strike actions by lecturers of public universities in the country. They also promised to increase investments in the education sector to reverse the growing number of out-of-school children in the country and revitalize the health sector. The candidates spoke on Sunday during the Arise TV presidential town hall series on education, healthcare, poverty and human capital, which was monitored by The Punch. Atiku noted that the government should work with relevant agencies to avoid a bottleneck in the funds he earmarked for the education sector in a bid to end the constant strike actions of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. He said, in terms of their arrears and their salary structure, the government must be prepared to invest more in the running of our universities, and then we should also avoid a bottleneck in getting these funds to the right places, which are the universities. In the current structure, there is a bottleneck. When the government releases funding to the universities, it goes into another agency of the government, and that agency now stifles the universities from getting this funding. Forget about whether the fund is sufficient or not. Let me give you an example. When I was vice president, I enlisted a few foreign missions. I found out that they were not receiving their salaries and allowances, and we are not paying remittances for months. And I called the Minister of Finance then. Each embassy submitted its budget, and after it was approved, we now started wiring these monies right to these embassies. The people did not like this, but it was the right thing to do. Obi, in his contributions, lamented that the country's investment in education is low compared to other nations, adding that the government needed to go back to its agreement with the ASU and design a sustainable funding mechanism. He said, our investment in education is low compared to comparable countries. In 6 years, our total investment in education by the federal government is about 3.6 trillion naira. That is not up to South Africa, which is the second biggest economy, and about the same year. In 2020, their budget for education was 380 billion rands. If you convert this, you will see the difference, so we need to invest in education. Overall, the funding of tertiary institutions needs to be restructured. We need to bring a lot of mix where the government will contribute. We have from the private sector who need these products to contribute. It is not something I believe the federal government can continue to fund the way they are funding it. All they need now is to go back to the agreement, clear the backlog, and then design a sustainable funding mechanism. It is very easy. We learn from what is happening in other countries of the world. In his contribution, Kwankwaso stated that his party's blueprint addresses the issues raised by ASU. In our case, we will do whatever it takes, not only to do the budget, but to keep our eyes on the budget so that money goes down so that everybody will get a salary. So, we will do whatever it takes really to put the money, and not only that, to keep our eyes on the money so that everybody benefits in the sector. And I can assure you that in our manifesto, all those issues raised by ASU were addressed, especially the issue of ensuring that these universities are upgraded or improved and are taken to the best international practice before we start fully operating the other universities and other tertiary institutions across the country. So we are on the same page with ASU. If you look at our blueprint again, he stated. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. On how he will solve the issue of out-of-school children, especially in the north, Atiku stressed the need for more funding and investment. I tried to do this when I was vice president, particularly in the northern states. I commissioned a special study which was made by a committee led by a foremost educationist, and as a result of that, we produced a handbook on how the northern states can catch up as far as education is concerned. It requires more investment, like Peter said. We are not investing enough in education, and because it particularly involves the northern states, I called the northern governors in Kaduna and gave them a copy of the report and how to implement it, but not a single one of them implemented it. Then we did not have a way we could enforce them due to the authority sub-regional areas had in the constitution. We could only advise them, so it requires much investment and funding. In his contribution, Obi said, throughout these 6 years, our budget in education is not up to 10%. With the level of people we have out of school, for me, I think we can have a budget differently. If we work hard, I believe Nigeria can. If we pluck all revenue, we should be able to get money running into trillions. We are going to invest in education, and we are going to do whatever is possible to ensure we get those people back to school. On his part, Kwakwanso stated that he believed that more investment should be made in education. He said, "We will encourage private people to set up facilities, primary, secondary, and tertiary. I have to thank Waziri Atiku. He has a university, which is another good thing. The only thing is that he should try and make the fees and so on much lower so that our team and supporters, as many as possible, can join the university." As regards healthcare, Atiku said, "What is required is the basic health centers to cater for the greater population of our people. This is where we need to focus as far as our health is concerned. We will need to sit down with the private sector and let them know that we want them to invest in the sector, and we are prepared to give you incentive. It requires a dialogue with the private sector because it is even those who go outside don't go to the public hospital, they go to the private hospital. So, if we give the private sector the incentive they need, they will build. I believe Nigeria's private sector is very active in this country." Obi also called for an increase in investment in the country's healthcare. We need to increase the investment we have in healthcare. Our total budget in the past 6 years for health is about 2 trillion and 250 billion naira for a country of 250 million. That's unacceptable. We need to deal with the issue of primary health care, especially in the north, where we have passed India in the issue of mortality. We need to invest in primary health care and invest in the training of the manpower. There is no reason why we should not have a school of nursing and midwifery in every local government. On how to stop medical tourism, Kwakwanso said, "We need to do two things. One is putting our house in order by improving the government-owned institutions. Two is to encourage private sector participation. Leaders also need to set a good example and seek treatment at home." That's the news, guys. Thanks for joining in. Until next time, bye.